After tens of thousands of years, the glaciers in Europe began to recede. As the earth slowly warmed, a group of people spread across the land, establishing a culture unlike any other before. Around 17,000 years ago, the Magdalenians emerged, one of the most enduring and creative cultures of the Stone Age. They didn't just create sophisticated tools from bone and stone. They poured their souls into abstract expressions, richer and more vivid than anything that came before. This is the story of the Magdalenians. This is The Immortal Art. I'm your host, Eldin. Episode 61, Beyond Survival, The Magdalenian Artists. If you like The Immortal Art, you can support it for little as $1 per month. You can donate one time or longer. It's up to you. The links are below. Check them out. Subscribe, share, comment, and follow. Thank you. First, let's begin with the La Magdalenian, discovered in 1875. Two archaeologists found the remains of reindeer in abundance, so much so they dubbed it Age of the Reindeer. But there was more. They found engraved spear throwers and thousands of ornaments. It was just a glimpse into the culture that spread across the continent, one that flourished and grew in numbers. Before the last glacial maximum ended, the Solitarian culture vanished from the Western Europe. Their complex bifaces, their skills faded, replaced by something new. The Badagullian culture, with its simple tools, took over. Why? Who knows? Maybe it was the cold. Maybe survival meant less sophistication. Around 20,500 years ago, the Magdalenian culture emerged. Some say it started in the Paris Basin. Others disagree. The Magdalenian ancestry was tangled, a mix of the old and the new. The Goyet Q2 lineage tied them to the 35,000-year-old Aurug nation from Belgium. But there was more. Their roots spread far, even as far as East Asia. These people roamed, settled, survived. By the time the Solitarians gave way to the Magdalenians, something new had entered their blood. The Villabruna cluster migrates from Near East, pushing into Europe as the glaciers retreated. The first Magdalenian skeleton, 19,000 years old from Spain, in El Mirón, a mix of Solitarian and Villabruna. The Magdalenians spread across Europe as the ice pulled back, following game through grassy plains, facing down wolves and cave lions. Their numbers grew, almost 10,000. If you remember from the previous episodes, the whole Europe in the time of Gravettians had 3,000 people. But they were not tall as their predecessors, the Gravettians. Maybe it was the lack of big game, the mammoths long gone, or maybe it was just the harshness of survival. Magdalenians were a diverse people. Some had dark skin, light eyes. Others didn't. Their genes were patchwork, reflecting the wandering tribes that had come before. As the earth warmed, grasslands replaced tundra. Life was changing, and so were they. They spread, settled far and wide. Spain, France, northern Poland. Sometimes they crossed paths with other groups, the Epigravettians who lived east of the Alps. But they didn't mix. Two separate worlds, two separate peoples. By the late Magdalenian, they had pushed north to the places like Britain and Denmark. Life was tough, but they made it work. They hunted, gathered, and built lives in a world that was always changing. The animals they lived along were reindeer, horses, deer. They roamed the same land, dangerous predators like wolves and bears. But the Magdalenians, they survived. Their tools, their skills, they kept them alive. It wasn't easy, but they weren't the kind to give up. Blades were at the heart of Magdalenian technology. Instead of focusing on large bifaces like the Solitarians before them, they turned to blade core technology, taking long, narrow blades of a core. They were razor sharp. This wasn't new. Earlier humans did it too. But the Magdalenians took it to a new level. They dulled one side and they attached it on the projectiles. As Aztec obsidian blades, these stone tools could cut through flesh with ease, and when damaged, they could be easily replaced. Their projectile points became more sophisticated too, evolving into triangles designed to lodge deeper into prey, making it brutal but effective hunting tool. They weren't only weapons. Larger, more robust points were also part of their arsenal. Spear made from stone, designed to take everything from the small animals to mammoths. Some blades reach up to 20 centimeters long, used as knives that could be reshapen. These weren't just tools for hunting, they were survival essentials. Scrapers, chisels, drills, burins, all had their place in their toolkit, serving practical needs, like preparing hides for clothing or crafting symbolic objects. The Magdalenians also mastered bone, antler, and ivory, transforming these materials into tools and weapons. Atlatls, or spear throwers, became their primary long-range weapon, with hooks and finger loops innovating the design. They also crafted javelins for close-range kills, and possibly even experimented with bows and arrows. Their bone points were versatile, from thrusting spears designed to penetrate deep into the prey to harpoons for fishing in glacial waters. Fishing tools, such as hooks, opened up new survival strategies. Ice fishing, for example, became possible. Bone knives, stone for smoothing leather, and needles for sewing clothing. Even their flint knapping tools were improved with bone, making stone tool production more precise. And then there were the batons. Some might think they were just symbolic, but these decorated bone tools were likely used for practical tasks, like rope making or straightening spears. The Magdalenian people, through these tools, left behind not just weapons, but a reflection of their lives and their survival, carving their existence in both stone and bone. In the time of Magdalenian period, 17,000 years ago or so, dogs were in the picture. Not just wild wolves lurking in the shadows. No, these were dogs. You could say they were pets, part of the family, part of the hustle. 10 of their remains have been dug up from sites all over Western Europe. 10. That's a big deal, especially considering how few bones we found of the Magdalenians themselves. Dogs mattered. Now, this thing between dogs and people started 30,000 years ago, somewhere in Eastern Europe. The truth? No one really knows. It was messy, slow, wolves hanging around campfires, looking for scraps, maybe a hunter snatching a pup. Some of these early tries probably went nowhere. Dead lineages. By the time the Magdalenians rolled into the scenes, dogs had a place. Wolves are like people, social animals with a strict hierarchy. Maybe people observe how wolves hunted and they tried to replicate, and gradually humans and wolves started working together. But dogs, with their sharp noses and loyal hearts, were different. We got bones of the dog-like creatures from Predmosty 30,000 years ago, back in the Gravettian culture. But it was the Magdalenians who took dogs and made them part of a tribe. Now, why keep a dog? Why bother feeding another mouth? It's not simple as wanting a companion. There got to be a payoff. If you ever seen a dog working alongside indigenous hunter, you understood. These dogs, they're sharp, coordinated, and part of the team. The Magdalenians probably had something like that going on. Dogs keep watch at night, dogs chasing after the animals, dogs protecting a fresh kill from something bigger and meaner coming and claiming it. They had value, real value, not just something sentimental. Even today, people hunt mountain lions with dogs because dogs are not scared to go after something dangerous. And let's be honest, when times got tough, dogs were food. Some ate them only in desperate times, others saw them as just another meal. That's the reality. Even today, some cultures eat dogs. The Magdalenian period stands as a period of artistic expression. The wealth of creativity, far surpassing their predecessors. Every notable piece of Magdalenian art, starting with the often overlooked significance of a pigment. This humble substance, red ochre in particular, was a vital component of their culture. They painted bodies, tools, weapons. They made jewelry, an art form rich in meaning and personal significance. Just as wedding ring speaks to love and commitment today, so did the ornaments of the Magdalenians. From antler to ivory, from bone to shell, their beads crafted expressions woven into necklaces that bore not just beauty, but stories and even status. Animal teeth, tokens of triumph over the wild, evoke a sense of magic and power, each piece perhaps telling the tale of a great hunt. Imagine a necklace, a combination of bear teeth and shell beads. What story did these teeth tell? What legends whispered through the ages? These people knew all the animals around them. Imagine now having a necklace with the shark teeth, far removed from its oceanic home. Imagine people seeing it. It sparks curiosity about the unknown, perhaps of a monster lurking in the depths of the collective imagination, in the big, big sea, in the ocean that most of them never saw. The Magdalenian mind was not confined to the realm of decoration. It extended into sound, where musical instruments took form. They had horns from bulls, flutes made from shells and bone. Imagine the melodies that dance upon the air, their notes a link between the earth and the heavens. These instruments, along the elusive drum, whose presence can only be hinted, speak of a culture deeply connected to rhythm and ritual. The Magdalenian symbolic language jumped onto engraved spear throwers, sculpted with a painstaking care, depicting animals with an almost breathtaking realism. Each carving, from the fawn's curious glance to the mighty mammoth, a narrative steep into the natural world that surrounded them. The Magdalenian culture is a collection of lives, intertwined across time and space, artifacts scattered like fallen leaves in the autumn all across Europe. In Spain, Germany, France, they crafted their tools and painted their stories, yet behind every blade lie a different tongue, different heart, different eyes. The treatment of their dead speaks volumes. Each burial was a testament to their beliefs, a revelation of love and loss. For example, in Vestonice burials, the living treating their departed with rites. In Saint-Germain, a woman adorned with the deer teeth, each bead a memory, each engraving a story, perhaps a gift to the afterlife. In Oberkassel burial, A double burial of a man, a woman, and a dog. A reminder that love transcends species. The dog, fragile creature of just 7 months, laid there, not as a mere animal, but a cherished companion. Was it sacrificial? Perhaps. Maybe it was sacrificial and I'm reading too much into the love for the dogs. There was a child at La Magdalenian resting on the blanket of shells. Was she a shaman's child? A chief's pride? Her resting place, a definite proof of those who honor their own with reverence. But then the world shifted. Forests began to grow. Creatures of the steppe vanished. Communities adapted, hunting boar and deer. And so, the Magdalenians, those survivalists, became shadows of themselves. Their tools simplified, their art diminished. In the end, the Azilian culture emerged. The last glacial faded into memory, giving way to the Mesolithic, a new world. Magdalenians, a final chapter in a book that has been written for over 30,000 years. Their art, their lives, their very existence, a story that will never truly be forgotten. This concludes this episode. I want to thank you for joining and listening. I hope I inspired you. I hope you learned something. The music is performed by my friend Sebastian. You can check his band Cadavra. There is a link below. Enjoy the song. Until the next time, goodbye.